Ready to record? Okay, thank you, Sean.
Do you want to just hit stop at the end?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get it. Sorry, over here.
Yeah, someday I'll get more like technology piece from you. Train me, right? So we started the recording, yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna roll call here. We're gonna call everything to order at 6:32. Mr. Pritchie has arrived. Representatives Powers, Gardner, Norman, Pulaski, Pritchie are present. Representative Pumpers and Schoenbrod are not present. Representative Schoenbrod is excused for this meeting. I'd like to have Representative Pulaski read our new business, which is 3.1, 2025-688-3. Miniature liquor bottle surcharge revenues resolution, please.
Resolution approving the use of funds collected from a surcharge on miniature liquor bottles. Whereas the state of Connecticut enacted a 5-cent surcharge on miniature liquor bottles, often referred to as nip bottles, through Public Act 21-58. And whereas the funds collected through the surcharge are transferred to the town from which the sale originated. And whereas Public Act 21-58 requires the payments received to be expended on environmental measures intended to reduce the generation of solid waste or reduce the impact of litter caused by such solid waste. And whereas the town of Groton has $94,569 currently in its possession from the surcharge, now therefore be it resolved that the town council authorizes $72,000 for public works for the purchase of solar trash compactors, $8,383 for Parks and Recreation for the purchase of solar trash compactors, and to provide $14,185 to the city of Groton. And be it further resolved to forward the funding request to the representative town meeting per Rule 6.5.3. So moved.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay. Director Hanover's here. Any questions about this bottle redemption money?
Another question.
Sure.
Do we know what the city's going to do with their portion?
I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but there is, in the Public Act, there's certain things that you can spend this money on, which is litter control, recycling coordinators, street sweepers, that kind of thing. I've heard that they're also going to do the solar compactors and save enough to buy some.
Okay.
The ones we're looking to purchase for Public Works, we're going to put on downtown Mystic. We put in 3 units there a few years ago, and it's a pilot program. They've been very successful. So we're going to replace all those 55-gallon drums with these solar trash compactors.
They're pretty neat.
How much do they cost per item?
They're $8,000 each for a trash recycling unit. And they actually are all connected to Wi-Fi, and they get an app so it tells you when it's full and stuff. So it's kind of
Oh, that is very cool. So
Technology driven. We love
So
it.
that the city could buy one and then somewhere find 2,000 for the rest.
yeah, the town gets about 80,000 to 90,000 a year from this, so additional funds.
And I presume this is prorated by how many nips were sold in the city and how many nips were sold in the town.
Yeah, I think
Because that's
The
what it
city
says
does-
in there.
yeah, the city doesn't get.
We don't have a lot of liquor stores. We got one at least.
There's a few. I think somebody figured out that they have a few to what the town has and get a percentage, and that's
Yeah.
where they came up with that 14,000.
Because it's based on the sale, not the drinking, which is not entirely fair.
I used to be walking up and cleaning the sidewalks in between Ice House Lane and up
Allen Street.
and up that Allen Street, but most of this place was just when it was just an undeveloped piece of land right there. We're getting tons of. I was bringing up piles of the nips, but lately when I go out there, one or two for 100 yards, you know. And that's.
I agree with you.
So I was asking if that's teaching people not to do it, or
It's teaching them to pick them up and get 5 cents per.
yeah. Well, they do it. So they don't take the time.
They don't get the money now? Okay.
And put it in the thing. So, but are you seeing that the penalty for a nip is causing people to save, I don't know.
At least not in that package store business, at least not that I know.
No, but it's not a deposit, so people can't pick them up and bring them back. It's just a surcharge.
Okay.
It's
So
not like
they
a
pay when they
soda.
buy it.
Yeah, they pay when they buy it, the state takes that money and then distributes based on sales to each town.
See, I would have thought, I said, well, I'm paying for this. You know, forget it. I don't care. Don't have
We
to
still
worry.
have them,
You know,
we see them all the time.
But it's gone down since I was working there. More tweaks picked up.
Representative Norman, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Thank you. Representative Carter,
Nope, I'm good.
see no other questions? Do we have any more seconds round of the question? Okay, see none, I take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that passes 5-0-0. Okay, Representative Gardner, could you read 3.2, 2025-689-4 opioid settlement revenue use resolution, please?
Resolution to distribute opioid settlement funds. Whereas the proliferation of improper use of opioids has created a nationwide epidemic, and whereas the town council joined into a settlement against Johnson & Johnson as the manufacturer of opioids, as well as the distributor of opioids, and whereas the town currently has $66,927 in opioid funding, was more likely to be received throughout the year, and whereas the town council has previously awarded opioid funds in past years to Community Speaks Out, a local organization whose mission is to provide education, prevention, and resources to individuals and their families to access treatment and recovery. And whereas the town council wishes to allocate further funding to Community Speaks Out, now therefore be it resolved that the town council awards the existing funding of approximately $66,927, as well as any further funds received in calendar year 2025 to Community Speaks Out to be utilized per award requirements, and be it further resolved to forward the funding request to the representative town meeting for RTM Rule 6.5.3. So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Community Speaks Out, the president, vice president, John can tell them. Do we have any questions for them? I think we're pretty self-explanatory, so what they do for us, but I want everybody to have their opportunity to ask them.
Well, there is one question, and it's not fair to ask of you. But at the town council meeting, there was a person who suggested that there was more than one opioid charity in town, and that they should have had a chance to competitively present your case for part of the money. And perhaps you guys already went through this and it's already done, but somebody will raise the question in the RTM, so I thought I'd mention it.
No, we expect to hear that question out there, and it's a fair question. To give you a little bit of context, 4 years ago when the money first came out, and it became known that it was going to go out, we had approached council and let them know that we had this plan, I'd say a grand plan, to purchase a building to be able to expand our services. And I think the council at that point had seen the possibility, not just the possibility, but the fact that we were already doing it since 2015.
Yes.
They kind of joined us and said that they wanted to see make a big difference with the whole amount, rather than trying to split it up and dice it up and have people do a little bit. Since then, we bought a building,
Yes, I've seen it.
right? And the council, again, and they had attended all of our things. I think they really did put in the work to try to understand what we do. The one thing I wanted to address here, and I'll probably address it out there as well. There was some insinuation that it's a good old boy network because I served on the RTM and I was on the council, that we're all
And the
friends.
State government, and it's true, we are all friends.
Yeah, we're all friends, and I think
We're all community residents, that's what I.
We are.
I think that's
We are.
locally based, which is a positive thing.
And then
Yeah.
I think that there's other things that they do with funding, and it's like, I explained to a few different people exactly. I don't know if anyone's ever been in an addictive setting with people that are seriously dying and overdosing right before your eyes. Normally they're around other people that are also doing drugs.
Yeah.
And the last thing they want to do is see the police, and those are the first people to come, along with the ambulance and the paramedic. And so this group here does that responding. And they're probably called as much, if not more, than the 911 call. So for that, to me, that's saving lives in a way that no one else can do that.
And I think the difference too, to Sean's point, is we are on 211.
Yes.
So when you call and you're looking for addictive services or help, 211 would direct you to Community Speaks Out. The other nonprofits, and again, I think by awarding this money tonight, you're not going to limit access to this money. In fact, we work with all these groups. One of the group that was there earlier, I don't think she even realized it, but we went back and tallied up all the dollars that we funneled down to her, whether it was through paying rent for folks that rent from her,
Yes.
or helping out with different ways. $7,500 last year went to that community of hope
Yes.
fiscal year. A Hava House, which is a Groton house, like $3,000. I do have some figures there for you guys to look at. So I almost felt like we are a fiduciary of the money. That's kind of how it doled out. We naturally give it to these other groups. We work alongside with SCAD. We work alongside with Stonington. The numbers that we have here were 240 total people last year. Intakes that we did. 218 were in the Ledge-Lake Health District, 82 of which from Groton and 22 from other regional areas. So we are like, not New London has CCAR. They have, they have 4 or 5 different places on that side. They have the hospital. Over here, it's us. And I think bang for the buck wise, and what hopefully people walk away from tonight is have the ability to take a 990, go on any website and look up anyone's 990. A 990 just tells you exactly how much staff is paid. And I can tell you we have 8 board members, and 5 of which are Groton residents that are very active board members, and the total amount that we pay staff is $0, 0 cents. All of our money goes into programming. If you're even counting the buildings, technically, last night 10 women used it. They use it every single. 8 were from Groton, and some from those houses. So in an indirect way to quantify the money that we're actually handing down to these other groups, it's hard to do. And again, they all deserving groups. They really are.
Yeah,
We deserve to get more money, it's just how much do we have? And see, this to me is categorized for opioid addiction. This is directly funding a group that does directly that part of our world.
And Community of Hope would have that argument because they are working with women in addiction, and we get that. There are 6 women in that home, and 6, and they can have up to 8.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 80 people at our home last month. 62 went on our sunset cruise. We do karaoke with these folks. Our Christmas party was 110 people last year.
Joe, other than this funding, how are your other revenue sources? How do you receive other funding?
We did get back in with the state, so we do have a $7,500 grant. So we're going to restart our youth program.
Okay.
The youth program, and we didn't end the youth program because of money. A lot of them kind of timed out and they graduated. They kind of came up together. So right now we're kind of, because getting these kids that are affected is not as easy as you think, and we don't want to just slap a bunch of kids together. We want it to be a cohesive group. So we got 15,000 over the next 2 years from the state. That's from the Youth Violence Prevention Grant. And then a lot of our money comes from, like Hillary, the company I work for, donates 10,000 every year. They have for the last 6 years.
Can I just interject?
Oh yeah.
I did have a meeting with the High School finally back in since COVID, and they have explained to me some of the problems they're having in the school with some substance and kids with expulsions and stuff. So we're going to try to come up with some plan on what we can do so it doesn't kind of so it doesn't become a line item for the school. What can we do to subsidize with that grant? What can we do better to serve the kids with prevention? Not just with prevention, but when they've already gotten in trouble, what can we do? So we're working on something like that right now.
Do you do other forms of addiction than opioids?
Yes.
Okay, so liquor.
But we keep track of all that. We have statistics, our intake is a lot of times what we'll find is someone may be dealing with alcoholism, but I will go in and say, have you ever had any other problems, and they'll say, well, I did have a fentanyl or heroin issue. I did have a pill issue, but then I started drinking. So a lot of times it's co-occurring, of course, with mental health, that and other substances
Addiction is something that, you become codependent
on different things. It's
on.
just
You
because-
just substitute one for the other.
But when it says that we are a resource, I mean, that we get resources for people, I think this is where, people were misspeaking at the town council level. They don't really understand what we do. We actually are a resource. So when someone is in, say, Community of Hope, when they said that the money is not trickling down to them, that's not true.
Yes.
We today just spent $700 for someone's 1 month for them to stay there. They have some extenuating circumstances, so we write a check tonight for that person to have 1 month of sober living. And so we do a lot. Like, we got a call today, a guy got a job at EB. He's going through the process now. He has to go and have his hearing tested and physical. The problem is he needs glasses. Well, in the midst of his addiction, he lost glasses. So in order for him to take the physical next Tuesday, he needs to get glasses. There's not a lot of places that are going to help people to get a pair of glasses. We're going to meet him there, and we're going to get him glasses because we are identifying the roadblocks all the way around. So we are just kind of like, sky's the limit as long as we know that it's going to be the best to serve.
I do think to make you feel comfortable, obviously we're asking for you to vote tonight and vote in favor of giving all this money. And to make you feel comfortable with the fact that one group seemingly is going to get all the money and others won't. That's really not the case. I think that's a very small sample of what she's talking about. But last year, I think our sober living expenses in 2024 were $36,473. All that means is you called up from Sorenton, you're on your way out, and said, I have no way to pay. And we pay for the first 2 weeks, which is very critical because I used to think, well, if we have extra money, we'll just pay for more. It is a cat and mouse, carrot and stick. I see her work magic with people of making them want to stay. And a lot of times they can't call their parents anymore because they've already went through all their friends. It's maxed out. So when they call us, they're like, we're that last line. Tell them, I only got 2 weeks. So to make you feel comfortable with it, and that was the elephant in the room because I didn't get to speak at the other part.
Was a Zoom.
Yeah, the council still understood what we do because they've been to all of our events. But a lot of people at the RTM haven't been to all of our events. You guys might not have been to all. But I will say, if there's any comfort knowing that we do trickle all this money down to all these other groups around us. This doesn't stop and end with us. And we do welcome the process. I think that was put inside it was contingent, the way the council voted, was that there will be an application process next year.
And if I could just say, when we first got awarded 3 years, that was discussed at that meeting, that they want a process going forward.
Yep.
And they did not take the initiative to get the process done.
Put it in.
So now, it sounds very promising that they will do a process. We're not against a process, but we do know confidently everyone that they put on there can come to Community Speaks Out and can be referred to us for financial help.
Okay. I need to ask Representative Ritchie if he has any questions. So, because we're going to wrap this up in the next.
I'm going to ask a question.
Do you have any questions for
I have
Community
one,
Speaks
but
Out?
it has not much to do with what you're doing, but overall, I'm not reading much lately in the newspapers about this huge problem that existed years ago. Maybe it was surrounded by COVID, or we were over healed, people were dying and all that stuff. I don't know if it's gotten better, but I see reports every once in a while, but they're not good yet.
They're not reporting as much. I do work with the Groton Town Police Department and the City Police Department, a little bit more with the Groton Town Police Department and their social worker. And they go in and walk influx, like all of a sudden they'll have 8. We do also help with Narcan if they get low.
But percentage-wise, Nuwanda County did go up, but Groton was a little
The
less.
deaths have gone down because of Narcan.
Yeah.
So they get another chance.
Representative Gardner.
Yeah, I have, first I have to say, I hesitate to even have any kind of voice of dissent. Because then it's implied that I'm taking one person's side over another. And I just want to say, I'm not interested in that. I wish that high school stuff, I've been watching it for 4 or 5 years now since I moved here. And I wish that high school stuff had been resolved and people could have reached out olive branches and been adults about it a long time ago, but it's not happening. That being said, I was concerned that there could be an interpretation of an appearance of favoritism based on how this was done in the past. Now, hearing that they are going to have an application process next year, I know it was spoken about by certain town council member, but I think I missed the fact that they were actually going to do it. That does make me feel better, because hearing everything that you do, I love it. I've known two people who are opioid addicts. One of them is deceased. The other one's not doing well. So I do have kind of a connection to this issue, as many people do, unfortunately, in this country. I love what you're doing. I don't think there's any corruption going on, but I would like Groton to be above reproach, and I would like what's best for the town. And I think the application process isn't going to hurt.
I agree.
And just so you know, if I talk to somebody in addiction, full-blown addiction, we ask them, the majority, like, when did this start? And the average age is about 12.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get into the school, into middle school. Even though people are hesitant in middle school, I got into one middle school, which was Lyman Memorial up in Lebanon. But we need to be there earlier. And we have been trying since COVID. Prior to that, since 2015, we've been in the schools. And then COVID hit and we just didn't get back in.
Right.
But I've been fighting and fighting. We were there for open house the other day. We have to have great conversations, and it's time that, the schools start to allow us back in. So it looks very promising for Fitch, but I want in the middle school.
Representative Norman, do you have any questions for the community street side group?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
You. Okay, any other questions?
Do you have any questions?
No, I think we're gonna go out in the other room and answer even more questions, so I'll make a statement to the whole group about what I think and how I feel about what we're doing and appropriations of funds and things like that.
But in these times when the federal government grants are gone, it's very difficult for all of these groups, which, as you said, they're all worthy groups. So it's difficult.
We find ourselves in a lot of rooms with these other groups in competition for the same money.
We
And
really have.
no, in certain ways, in different, like private groups and businesses deciding on who they're going to give their money to or not. And a lot of times we cheer each other on. I think the fact that this is Groton money and the amount of if I show you the horsepower that comes out of Groton, it's 5 of the 8 board members are Groton members, and these are master's degree in public health, counselors. We have some people that were in addiction. We have a powerhouse of Groton people that really care about Groton. It's tough for me because I can see what people would say. And Joe's a funny guy. It was mentioned in the I wasn't able to respond, but people just like you because you're funny. Well, to me that was a kick because it really denigrated the 8 people on our board, the hundreds of volunteers, the thousands of people that we helped.
The fact that I left a
We're more
paid
than
job
that.
to a non-paid job, which I pretty much work a
Full-time,
long hours
full-time.
full time. And if I would feel a little bit worse if I didn't think that the money wasn't benefiting the other people that were looking for money.
But the
But
process
they
is
are,
right there.
the process.
And that's part of the issue, that you two are such a pillar of community, and you're so liked, that that's where the appearance comes from. That it's because of that, it appears that we didn't even do applications, we didn't look around, we just like you.
I'd like to just say one thing about it. Okay, when it comes to appearances, I think we've been elected to make choices for how it appears sometimes. And not everybody understands it because they're not sitting in this room and their name's not on the ballot. Okay? And I think there's such an openness in all of what we do. We're on Zoom. We're on Zoom out here. We have minute meetings, get posted on the webpage. There's plenty of transparency here. There's no in the back room going to give anybody anything. This money's going back out into our community. And it's going in a very appropriate way to solve some very life-saving events. And that can't be measured by a few people questioning what we're doing. know something? They have drive-alongs with police. You take the kids down to the firehouse. You want to make out? Go with Tammy and Joe sometime. See what it's like to pick somebody out of the cellar that's got a needle jammed in their arm, and they need Narcan. And you got to sit there with them and hold their hand while they detox for 3 or 4 days. It gives me goosebumps to think of the people that question what they do. Okay? And I get really emotional about it. I'm going to stop here because I've lived my whole life in a state of sobriety for the most part. And until you live that piece of addiction, you can't understand what they do. The people that go out, they're so giving, it's impossible to explain it because you have to experience it from the standpoint of the addict. So I'm not going to say anymore because it's just, I can go on for hours about it. I'm going to ask us for a vote because we got to be out in the other room in about 3 minutes. So.
Can I just say really quick, the point you're making about the appearance of it? I do want to let you know, the majority of the people on the town council have volunteered or come to our events. And say the mayor, because that was one thing that was mentioned the other day. She actually came to the Christmas party, showed up. It was just on our website. And when I tell you the people in recovery said, isn't that mayor fun? They came to our, because they came to a room and they fought the first money. She went around all tables, talked with everyone, took photos, not with their own camera, with their cameras. They were so excited. Then, Juliet, they all show up to things and they get to know us. So I'm glad you did make that point. Because
No, I
I
also
would say,
said I don't believe it's any corruption.
yeah,
I don't remember anyone saying that the work you're doing isn't good
right.
or isn't good enough.
Yeah.
I just don't want why, because everything is so open and on YouTube and whatnot, that even increases the possibility of looking like something was done behind the scenes. So it's like, let's have an application process, let's go through it. If you guys get all the money again, because you're doing the work and you're trickling it down to them, like you say, and I believe you are, then fantastic.
Okay,
So we need to
we're
vote.
a minute away. I need to have a vote here. All those in favor say aye, please. Aye. Okay. No opposition. No nays, no abstentions. So that passes 5-0. I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. I closed at 6:58. Thank you, committee members, and we'll see you in the other room.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the work.
I think it's you're always the first and the second, or the second or the first. One is good. All the, well, it's closed now. Just shut it off. Thanks, Greg. Thank you. You're gonna be out here for.
I'll be out here for some questions.
Thank you. I hate to keep you here, but Chuck wants to bring you up.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I'll see you now, so.